Welcome to another very exciting episode of Listen to the Heartbeat with Aaron G. This episode will be with my friend who is a research psychologist, Joanne, out of Liverpool. This episode started by me having self-talk this morning, and one of the concerns was, why does the parent who stays have so much challenge with the children? We're talking about the parent who stays. That can either be mom or dad. And how alienating parenting comes automatically due to the lack of. Joanne, based on your research, please give us some insight on parenting stress.
Wow, what a question. Why is it so hard to appreciate the parent who stays? Okay. I remember seeing a friend years ago who had four sons. Typical example. Dad left after mum and dad broke up. Dad was a little bit violent. For whatever reason, parents can break up, and the parent who stays can be left with one or multiple children. When things get tough, mom can, and I'm using mom and dads as examples. You know, it can be the other way round. We can have single parents who are men, right? And that causes it doesn't cause, I need to be careful with my words, that can cause men to be codependent on different women. So basically what happens is, or what can happen, maybe perhaps the parent who stays is spread thin. Can you imagine, for example, this woman's got 3 or 4 children. She's trying to work part-time. Maybe she's doing a bit of study. Maybe she never got any help for a breakup she's gone through, or things that she's needed in her life support, because, you know, a lot of people just get on with this. They see it as getting on with things. So what can happen is, basically, mum and the child are not communicating properly. Mum can be spread thin, and that can cause her to feel stressed. Stress causes a lot of things, and they're not communicating properly. I've gone through that. So in this stress moment, people can say words. Emotions can be high, because people can be hurt, in fear, in pain. Now, from there, a child can feel that their needs are not being met. The child's needs are not getting met. There's no communication. Mum's spread thin. She's doing the best she can. You know, basic needs might be getting met, but there's no, maybe, emotional comfort. Maybe there's not enough. Maybe there's too much, and that can cause enmeshment. So basically, the child begins and can begin. Sorry, I need to say can begin, because not everyone has to go through this. Not everyone who has had these type of upbringings with single parents become dysfunctional, but they can. So the child then begins to feel alienation, and they can go through fantasies about the other parent and have obscure truths, trying to figure things out. Like, I know why daddy left. It was her. She's bad. She doesn't listen. My mother punishes me all the time. You know, I'm being punished. I'm being cursed. I didn't eat my dinner. I don't like this eating. I don't like that eating. They don't understand me. You know, and the child can literally go on a quest in their minds to want to belong, want to find a sense of belonging. They start to feel unbelonging, resentful, pain, lots of fear in the household because their needs of whatever they are, basically, I'm trying to explain this, are not getting met. They're not getting met, or they're sheltered too much, and that is just as damaging out there, because the child doesn't learn lots of skills, especially in communication, with protecting themselves. They're not exposed to lots of dangers where they can learn, right? So that's enmeshment. That can cause severe harms, just as alienation. So anyway, we're talking about back to the young man, for example. He's really finding it hard. He's not seeing mum much. He's trying to keep up with school grades. Mum's punishing him. She's spread thin. She might not have had treatment, therapy, counselling, care, support in the community. You know, a lot of people even run to church and find lots of discipline there. The child can even see that as a punishment, and they begin to fantasize, as human nature is. Sometimes we want things that we haven't got. So this pushes the child forward, propulsion into fantasies. My daddy is a dream. My daddy's a superhero. My dad's coming back. I want to find my dad. This is why my dad left. I feel like him. I can empathise with my dad. And the child starts creating a godlike figure in the figure that left. And also, there's a lot of shame and really deep blame, a sense of blame. Maybe the mom says things, lashing out, because she's finding it really tough. It's stressful. It's stressful, lone parenting. I really must give you the article after that I read on how stressful it is bringing a new baby home. And this was a typical example of a heterosexual couple. Now, can you imagine a younger woman with maybe 3 children left, right? So the child's now created this fantasy, and their basic needs may be met, but other needs are simply not getting met because it's not mum's fault. She's trying to keep things afloat. This can lead young men into seeking, and this can be a societal problem as well, because in this day and age, everyone must work, everyone must have this, everyone needs a home, a car. We're looking at pictures, we're looking at holidays of couples and children, and everyone's happy. Everyone must be happy, you know, and you must do this and you must do that. Now, maybe this lady's living on the breadline. Maybe, you know, money's hard to come by. So the child's now created, maybe I'm to blame. They may even feel a sense, I can change this. I want to help my mum. This can lead, sorry, I need to correct myself all the time. This can lead to young men, vulnerable children being groomed by adults who are in criminality. Yeah. This can lead a child into doing things that they don't want to do, or that they think is good things because they're bringing home some money. It can lead to a secret life. It can lead to drug addiction. It can lead to mental illness as adults, and it can lead to severe consequences, even if they're teenagers. You can seek out, for example, adult men to be a father figure, or what else can happen is that the child creates a lack of empathy towards men in general, right? And they can become career criminals, and they have no empathy for men. Now, I've seen this happen with a girl that I know who was abused by her father under the home. He was spread too thin. She went looking to finesse men. What can I have? What you got for me? Now, that was her role playing out her relationship with her father, who suppressed her. Right? That can lead to a lot of adult damage, a lot of mental illness. Another lady I know who's involved in sex work, behind the screen sex work, but equally as damaging is from a suppressive relationship with her father, who was trying to do his best, who was left with two daughters single-handedly, and she actually idolizes this mother of hers who was never there for her. It's quite it's really sad, actually. It's part of the human condition. I think a lot of people need to know about all this stuff, and I must give you the article of how stressful it is for new parents bringing baby home to the home, let alone our single parents out there, and the best that they're doing. This is why in the UK especially, the social services exist, support groups exist. There's lots of help out there. And families are monitored, but some families slip through the net, and what happens to the children is quite shocking. And even the parents, the single parents that we're talking about here today, and even the absent parents who are out there somewhere, may be damaged, in a lot of pain. I've seen and heard of a friend of mine this morning actually trying to make it up to his children. He gives them excessive amounts of money. It is really, really damaging, and he's drinking himself to death right now. I've offered him a detox, even to take him to the hospital. So yeah, I just want to leave it there. And we all the names and everything, and the people I've suggested, they are real. It's from people who I know, and a friend of mine, another female friend of mine, is now suffering. Her two sons are suffering out of the four. They have both served time now in prison. They are young, vulnerable adults, and they were, and they still are young, vulnerable adults now to me. And it's quite shocking, because I seen a personal friend of mine doing her best, and a horrific tragedy occurred because this young man was seeking elders to look out for him, impressionable elder men. He actually got involved in drug running. One was enforcing this young man to do things against his will. He simply knifed him in a gym, in a public gym. He's since served his sentence, and he has been released. But the horrific times and what is happening, there's more and more people under services, under mental health, under criminal rule, under gang influence, because people simply want a sense of belonging. They need to find their group. They need to find home. They want to feel that they belong. Humans, we're built to connect. We are not built to be alone. We are not built to be isolated. We are not built to feel lots and lots of pain. And we're simply not built to be quiet about it. People need to start connecting again. Our single parents out there need all the help they can get, not to be mum shamed or dad shamed or judged. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for asking me to share on a topic really, really close to my heart, because I've got friends out there who are going through sometimes themselves, but at least with lots and lots of help, and especially from all of our young psychologists up and coming, and students and people needing, which has only been around actually for 150 years. We are starting to see a change. Even, it could be as simple as making a brew and asking someone, hey, how are you doing? How are you really doing today? Because another thing what I've found people generally don't like is being told what they should be doing. Maybe people need to start listening a bit more and being a little bit more empathetic on our human condition. And I'll leave it there. Thanks for asking me to share.
Listen, this is Aaron G. Well, listen to the heartbeat. And I'd like to say that was Dr. Joanne coming out of Liverpool. And I gave her the PhD because of her lived experiences. Most people get twisted about going to indoctrination centers and getting their titles, The first title you get in an indoctrination center is a title of separation. It's called an associate degree. You become now an associate of the indoctrinator and or the oppressors. And they say, go further, and we go further. And what are they trying to create? They're trying to create some workers. So the next degree is called a bachelor's degree. And as Joanne was just talking about the young people, whether it's male or female, that's young parents, they need assistance. They don't need indoctrination. They need a little understanding. They need some empathy. They don't need to be judged, whether it's the male or the female. Neither one of them need to be judged, because there's no book on parenting, right? And dealing with our own issues of our parents and how we created this fantasy, this fictitious deal about whatever parent stayed, we assigned a label or blame based on what we didn't have. And then the parent who was gone, we created a fantasy that they was the one, only to find out that they too was hurt and harmed, right? And did the best they could, right? Then we have the master's degree. It actually tells you who the hell you worshiping. Master, right? So I give my friend Joanne from Liverpool the PhD in life experiences. And you heard it here first at Listen to the Heartbeat with Aaron G.